That was not the most comfortable night I've ever spent, though I'm pretty sure I picked the best bed in the place. Those must have been the officers' quarters, when there were soldiers holding this place rather than bandits. But it was eerie, sleeping here, with all these dead men and women in the place. Well, no use thinking too much about it. I took a look around and liberated quite a few books that must have belonged to the soldiers, including one really interesting one, The Legend of Red Eagle. It seems to be a story about an ancient leader of the Reachmen in the time of the Empress Hestra. So I'd like to take a look at that one later. The only books that I did not rescue were the ones that the bandits had been using as toilet paper. I figure those are a lost cause. And with that appetizing thought, it's time for some breakfast. I'm not all that hungry, so I think I'll just go for a boiled egg and some water. Speaking of water, one of the things I found were a couple of empty water skins, which should come in handy. It'll be good to carry water in these instead of these heavy glass bottles I've been using. Well, we'd better be off. And the first order of business is to find my horse. That's what started this all in the first place. I can't believe I didn't think to go out and find her and bring her back in here before going to bed. Did I loot these two? I don't think I did. Not that this one has much worth taking. Nor this one. Ugh. Oh, I hope Bera's alright. Bera? There she is. Come on. Bera? Are you okay? You do not look happy with me. I'm sorry, darling. I didn't mean to leave you out here all by yourself in the cold. And to show my regret at leaving you out here, I'm going to load a bunch of books onto you. Alright, let's get back on our way. And I'm thinking I don't really want to pass through those fortress walls again, even if there's no danger anymore, so let's just go around. See if we can find the road. This is not the road. Great. Where am I? What? That is not good. Come on. There's a fire. There might be dragons around. What happened here? Blood on the ground. And someone's here. A little girl? Hold on. I'm gonna go see if they're survivors. Ah! Oh, it's hot in here. Is there anyone alive? Call out if you're there. Oh. No. I think they're all dead. Wait a second. It's one of these strange dogs. Vampires. Okay, be really careful, Colin. Ugh, gotta make sure they're all dead. That's... It's not a vampire. I think this one is, though. Oh, let's get out of this heat. What happened here? An attack like the one in Whiterun? And the girl. Garm, are you looking after her? Are you okay?
Hi there.
You don't seem to be injured. But... Oh God, were your parents in there?
Until next time.
Colin, we have to do something. We could take her onto Dawnstar, maybe. But I don't know anyone there. And they'd probably just end up sending her to that orphanage that I heard so many terrible things about. I can't do that. No. And I can't drag you back to Whiterun. Colin?
Yeah?
Listen. I'm going to take care of the situation here. Why don't you go on ahead? I'll meet you at the wreck of that ship you told me about, the Brine Hammer. You can camp out there if you want, or you can stay in Dawnstar. I'll be heading up there as soon as I can. But I have to make a bit of a detour.
Alright, but don't take too long, else I'll have to kill this thing without you.
Understood. Watch yourself out there. Don't worry. I'm gonna get you somewhere safe. At least somewhere that I hope is safe. Well, I've done the best that I can for these people. Vigilance of Stendar, according to the girl. And none of them family of hers. I think I know what I'm going to do with her. Though I wish I could do more for these people. The ground is too cold and too hard to bury them. But I didn't want to let them just burn in there. With the vampires and their dogs. So they'll have to stay out here. In RK's hands. And once I get the chance, I'll report them to the guards in Dawnstar. Alright.
Need something?
I'm going to take you somewhere safe. Somewhere where you'll be taken care of. By a woman I know, a priestess. I'm sure that she'll be willing to take care of you, to look after you. She'd better, she owes me one. So you should follow me, and I'll take you to safety. Go ahead and ride the horse. I'll walk. Come on. Let's get going. The child's name is Sironwe, and the Hall of the Vigilant was her home for nearly as long as she can remember. 5 years, she thinks. She tells me a little of her life there in broad strokes, how her father brought her with him when he joined the Vigilants, how she was raised on stories of Daedra as the monsters under her bed, how, one night, her father returned from a patrol sick and raving, and she never saw him again after that. I don't want to hear any more of this. I recall those nights in the deep winter when Mother would leave the house with barely a word, dressed in worn studded armor with her old Legion sword hanging from her belt. I remember waiting days until she returned, weary and sometimes wounded, always soaked in blood and the satisfaction of rooting bandits out of their winter dens. I've never told Mother how much I feared for her, barely eating or sleeping until she came home. I could only bring myself to say that I was proud of her. Usually that's true. Did Cerone ever tell her father that she feared for him, beg him to stay home? I don't ask. She tells me that after her father died, Keeper Carset gave her a choice. Go to Honor Hall Orphanage in Riften, or stay and be trained as a future vigilant of Stendarr. She chose Stendarr, and I am renewed in my decision not to let her be sent to Riften. We travel in silence for a while. I don't want to press, but I have to ask. What happened during the attack? I try to be gentle, but she takes a long time to answer. I was out picking snowberries. They sent me for them sometimes for potions, but I stayed out too long. I was... Here her voice quavers for the first time. I was daydreaming. I can hear the guilt, the unspoken thought that if she had been good, if she had just gone back when she was supposed to. As if a little girl could have held against even one vampire, much less an organized attack. When I got back, I could hear the fighting, so I hid behind the rocks and watched. I thought it would be like the stories. My friends were the good ones. They would win, but they all just died. I search for comforting words and fail. Some bard I am. So you hid. It comes out like an accusation, and I wince at the sound of my own voice. Hastily I add, "That was smart." "I guess," she says. "I used an illusion spell so they wouldn't smell me, and I stayed really still even after they left, until the sun came up. Then you came." This halts me, as I realize where I had been the night before. If I had passed Fort Dunstad and gone on, I would have come across the Hall of the Vigilance before the attack. I might have asked shelter for the night. If I had been there, would I be dead too? Or might some of Sironwe's guardians still be alive? I spend the rest of the trip telling her about Whiterun, about the Temple of Kinnereth, about the Gildergreen. I tell her about my trip to Eldergleam Sanctuary and how beautiful it was. But I leave out the part about the hag ravens and the knife. Here we are back in Whiterun again. I honestly didn't expect that I'd be back here so soon. But Cerone, you'll be safe here. I'm going to leave you in the care of somebody who I'm sure will take very good care of you. You'll certainly be better off than where you were. No. I'm sorry. If those vampires took out that whole place full of vigilance of Stendar. What am I going to do against them? Whoa. Look at that. It seems that Danica has planted the sapling, and Whiterun has a new Gilder Green. That is, if she decides to keep the same name for it. I can't believe it's grown so quickly. Kinnereth really must have given her blessing to this plant. And to the temple here. We're almost there, Sironwe. Almost there. Ah, Danica. I need to talk to you. It's rather important.
Hello, child of Kinnereth.
Hello, priestess. I have a bit of a situation here. There's a little girl. Her guardians were attacked. Killed by vampires like the ones who attacked Whiterun the other night. She's all alone now, and I don't want to send her down to the orphanage in Riften. So, what I was thinking was that I could make a donation to the temple. And with part of that donation, you could give her food and shelter, a place to stay where she'll be safe. Is that agreeable to you? I'll make sure that you don't have to pay for it out of your own pocket. I don't want to put any more stress on the temple coffers. So, with that understanding, will you take care of her?
Grace of Kinnereth be with you.
I'll take that as a yes. Cerone? Here. Wait. I want to talk to you. I know this is hard for you,
Need something?
but I think this is going to be the best thing. I can't take care of you myself. I don't think I'm equipped for it, but Danica will take very good care of you. You can spend your time here in the temple if you like, or there are children in this town that you could play with. You could make some friends. And perhaps the priestess here will even teach you some healing if you want. But you won't be alone. And I don't think you'll be in danger of the vampires here. So, why don't you stay here? And when I get the opportunity, I'll come back and see how you're doing. And if you don't like it here, maybe we can find some other arrangements. But I think if you stay here, you'll be okay. Alright. Take care of yourself, child. Now, let's go see to that donation. Perhaps I could leave it here in this strong box. Let's say 500 or so should cover things. For quite a while, I expect. Danica should be pleased with the coin. Well, Garm went outside. I suppose he needed to do his little doggy business. I do hope Sironwe will be okay here. I'd better make my prayers to Kinnereth just in case.
I feel better already.
Kinnereth, please watch over this child that I've put into the care of your priestess. May soft rain fall on her, and may she grow under your watchful eye. Thank you. Well, I guess I'd better be off to Dawnstar again in the morning.